For purposes, the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to meet at 11 a.m. tomorrow. And further, when the House adjourns on that day, it adjourn to meet on Tuesday, May 15th, 2018, when it shall convene at noon for morning hour debate and 2 p.m. for legislative business.
Without objection.
And then also,
For purposes, the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, I seek unanimous consent that the Committee on Appropriations have until 6 p.m. on Friday, May 11, 2018, to file privilege reports to accompany measures making appropriations for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2019, and for other purposes.
Without objection. Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 3, 2017, the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Dent, is recognized for 60 minutes as the designee of the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to give notice of my intent to resign from the United States House of Representatives on May 12th and to share a few words with my fellow members and the American people. It has truly been an honor and privilege to serve the people of Pennsylvania's 15th District, and I'm proud of my time in Congress. I believe that I've made a difference and have improved the lives of the constituents that I've served in Pennsylvania. From serving on the House Homeland Security Committee and the Transportation and Infrastructure Committees, which is being very ably led by my good friend, Mr. Schuster of Pennsylvania, and his term is also coming to his end, and I want to commend him and congratulate him on his dedicated service all these years. And to my current role as a senior member of the House Appropriations Committee, chairing the Subcommittee on Military Construction and Veterans Affairs, as past chairman of the House Ethics Committee, and I was delighted that my good friend Linda Sanchez had just spoken a few moments ago. Serving with her, she was a wonderful partner on that committee, and as it was so much of the staff, some of whom are here in the chamber today. I just was so thrilled to be able to have that opportunity to work with her and the staff, who were all so professional. I'd also had the opportunity to serve as co-chair of the Tuesday Group Caucus. Very pleased what we were able to accomplish in that role. And as a senior member of the Appropriations Committee, I've fought to fulfill the basic functions of government, like keeping the government funded and preventing default on our nation's obligations. At times, that's not been easy, as so many of us know, and I see my good friend Mr. Cole is here too, and he's been a great appropriator and a great leader and a great mentor to me. Unfortunately, due to disruptive political influences, increased polarization has led to Congress becoming more paralyzed, unable to perform even our most basic and fundamental tasks. This phenomenon manifested itself most clearly during the 2013 federal government shutdown, but it continues today. This political polarization has led to a disturbing trend where fringe elements of both the far right and far left are emboldened and empowered. And while the bases of both political parties are well represented in Congress, the governing center has been under increased pressure. Too many Republicans expect blind unquestioning loyalty and obedience to President Trump, no matter how absurd or destructive the comment or behavior. Constitutional separation of powers is almost an alien concept after relentlessly demanding Congress assert its Article I powers during the Obama years. On the other side, far too many Democrats offer unflinching resistance and opposition to President Trump, even if they agree with him on a given policy or position. Separation of political parties has replaced separation of powers as a guiding governing philosophy. This dynamic is simply not sustainable, and it is already having troubling consequences. We've already seen a rise in the three-headed monster of isolationism, protectionism, and nativism. These are not qualities of a great nation. In fact, they dishonor the sacrifices and service of the greatest generation who delivered both victory during World War II and the far-sighted, outward-looking, post-war, rules-based order that has brought unprecedented freedom and prosperity to America and its friends and allies and partners. Furthermore, traditional democratic values, the rule of law, freedom of press, an independent judiciary are under unprecedented attack throughout much of the world. it is incumbent upon all of us to stand up and defend our way of life and our institutions. In Congress, we need to reestablish a strong bipartisan governing center that will help restore order and stability to Washington. And that will also help bring alleviate a lot of concerns throughout the country. To be sure, there are a number of members working towards that goal. From the members of the Tuesday Group, Republican Main Street Partnership, the Blue Dogs, the New Democrats, the Problem Solvers Caucus, and there are others. Many of these members understand that consensus and compromise are not capitulation or surrender, but instead are essential to a functioning republic. We need to pursue real fiscal reform, both on the mandatory side and the revenue side of the ledger. We need a Simpson-Bowles 2.0 with teeth, and the reforms must be bipartisan to assure they are both durable and sustainable, which won't happen. We know it won't happen on a partisan basis. Additionally, we need to address other challenges such as how to increase access to and affordability for our nation's health care system, expanding educational opportunities for our children and our grandchildren, and making needed improvements to our infrastructure, like so many around here are dedicated to, especially my friend Chairman Schuster. The administration must realize that America has to honor its agreements if we ever hope to enter into new ones. We simply cannot walk away from American commitments, even ones we may have voted against or disagreed with, if we expect to continue to build new coalitions and enter into new agreements. Instead, we should double down on the multilateral rules-based order, whatever the flaws, that America worked so hard to establish after World War II by defending the institutions, alliances, and partnerships we established or helped established, from NATO to European unity, and yes, to a global trade regime through which we've advanced America's economic, security, and strategic interests. We should look at ways to open new markets and expand new opportunities that unleash the power and benefits of the American free enterprise system. All of us, Republicans and Democrats, need to work together to move America forward as friends and partners who share values, ideals, and common interests. Whether confronting a revanchist, aggressive Russia, a terrorist, theocratic Iranian regime, or China's mercantilist policies, success can only be achieved by finding strength in unity. And while I may be leaving the halls of Congress, I'm not retreating from the battlefield. Some of you may regret that. I intend to continue aggressively advocating for people and the policies of the sensible center. I hope to provide an even larger voice in favor of responsible governments and hope to foster a strong center-right movement that embraces traditional conservative virtues of order, discipline, stability, measured statements, and incremental change, not the incendiary rhetoric, chaos, and dysfunction that we have unfortunately grown accustomed to in recent years. Although my time in Congress is drawing to a close, I know that our nation's future is bright. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to all my friends and colleagues, again, some of whom are here today. Thank you all, to my friends and colleagues, not only here in the House, but also in the Senate, for your support, your guidance, your wisdom, your friendship over the years. It is truly very meaningful to me, and I've been especially touched by some of the very nice things people have said and other tributes that have been paid to me. My wife said after she heard a few of them, she's kind of waiting to meet this guy that they're all talking about. But seriously, I can't thank you enough. And I also want to give a special thank you to all my staff, both past and present, for everything that you've done dutifully to serve our constituents in Pennsylvania, and to my legislative and policy priorities. I should note some of my staff are seated up in the gallery, past and present. Not supposed to do that, but hell, it's my last day. So I can do that. But I just wanted to, again, thank the staff for their dedication and work, both my Washington and my district staff, who really who do a lot of work for, not just for me, but all of our staffs. They do a lot, and sometimes they take a lot of grief, and we don't say thank you enough to them. But bottom line is, we could have never achieved as much as we did without their dedication and their commitment. And And above all, thank you to the people of Pennsylvania's 15th Congressional District for the trust that you have shown in me time and again. And I've always said, I don't know how many constituents would allow their member, the amount of latitude they've given me, to be somewhat of an independent voice here and say what I felt needed to be said. I really appreciated my constituents allowing me to do that. I recognize in some districts that might not be the case. But so to them, I say thank you again. But after serving my family, after my family, I should say, representing you and carrying your voice to Washington has been the honor and joy of a lifetime. So, Mr. Speaker, I say thank you, and I yield back my time for the final time.
Gentleman yields back.
Thank you. Thank you.